gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Before we get started, quick audio and video check, please. Someone let me know if the audio is good, if the video is good. How's it all sounding? That's a bit abrasive. I'm sorry. You need to get coffee earlier. Let's see who's on here. Hey, Jerry, first in. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Sergio, how are you, sir? Let's see. Anthony, Larry. Hey, guys, how are you? Team Unicorn. And who else is in there? Okay, that's all we have for now. Okay. So last week, first, again, give me a thumbs up if the sound. Okay, Jerry said looks and sounds good. Excellent. That's what we want to hear. Now, last week, if you remember, we got this far with this component, and we also made one of the planetary systems last week. So we're ready to move on to the next stage after this. Now, there's a couple of planets we need to build, and I'm still suffering with the leftovers of COVID. I'm still coughing, so if I do, I'm very sorry. I will try and turn away from the mic and mute it as much as possible. And so we're well into this. I'm hoping we can get this finished today. I have pre-laid out some of the next 4 objects we need to build. I actually pulled out the pieces. There is a lot more components to go into it, but we haven't got there yet. And I don't have enough room on my desk to lay it all out. So I've done the next 4 and I've laid them out what the components we need. We'll build this. And yeah, so guys, just in the link below, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, in the description there's a URL. If not, quickly go over to my Facebook or my YouTube. You don't have to follow it. Just go to Astropinner on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Astropinner. In the description of today's live, there's a URL to the company that makes these. If you use my discount code ASTRO, ASTRO, you get a 15% discount on buying one of these kits. And any of their kits across their whole website, you can get 15% discount if you use my discount code. And these are a fun build. Like, this is week 4 of building this. And they're about an hour and a half sessions. If I really sat down, I could build it in a day. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But you could build it. You could really sit down and build it in a day if you really spend a Sunday afternoon. You want to spend a Sunday doing nothing, just sitting around doing this stuff. You could plonk yourself down, do this in one day, and you're done. So if you're mechanically minded at all, it's not that hard to do. If you're not mechanically minded, take a little bit longer. But it's not. There are more complex models out there that this company has, ROKR. But there are more complex models. Some of them are really nice. They have one of a violin that plays music. So when you play it, it's a music box, and when you run it, the bow goes over and back in the front like it's playing the strings. It looks fantastic. But they have some really complex models, some and some not. They have some marble runs which look amazing. So check them out, and again, use the code ASTRO, ASTRO, and you'll get a discount on their a 15% discount just by using that code. I get nothing. It's not an affiliate link. It's just a discount code for anybody who's watching. All right, let's get into building this. Let me switch over the cameras to the overhead camera. 1 second. And now you don't have to look at my ugly mug, and you can actually look at what's going on at the desk. So here's the next 4 that we're going to assemble. Last week, we stopped here, which is this unit that we finished last week. And I actually fitted it onto this, and it fits fine. But I'm not going to do it because there's a few other pieces to be done before we can actually put it together. And so we're going to start on page 30, 21. And we're going to start assembling this unit here. So what you normally get is a breakout drawing. And then as well as the breakout drawing, you also get the detailed instructions of how to assemble it on this page. And then on 22 will be the next one, which will be this one here that we're going to start working on. after that. So it gives you a breakdown as well as a step-by-step on how to assemble. So we're going to do this. I generally just use the breakout, but and the nice thing about this, if you haven't seen them already, for bolts and screws and planets and whatever else you need, and metal rods, it's all, you have a one-to-one scale available to you for all of it. Sorry, somebody seems to be calling me. Forgive me, guys. Oh, it's okay. All right, so let's go. Let's assemble this one here. Get this done, and as I said, I broke out the parts already to make life easy for myself. And I'll leave the instructions here as I go. So in this, we have a series of bolts and a planet and some and so on, right? And a rod to mount the planet on. So let's go by the instructions and we'll follow through. Hey, good morning, Matt. How are you? Or good afternoon, Matt. Sorry, you're in the UK. Forgive me. I keep saying good morning because I suppose it's afternoon for me as well. It's 12:05. So we need this. We will need a couple of these little washers that come in the kit. Let's get them here. We need 1, 2, 2, 4, 6. It looks like. Oh, we need 3 of them in each. Do we? Yeah, it looks like we may need 3 of them. We have a whole pile of these anyway. We'll be going through these throughout today anyway. So let's see. We need to get this. With the planet in here. And this is normally held on with 2 of these washers underneath. Let me put them on separately. Actually, it's easier. And I use this flat screwdriver. Or this wrench and a screwdriver. I didn't get my small hammer. Just to tap them together. It's a hard way, isn't it? Let me see if I can get these lined up. And there's a little tool to help push these on. Oh, I knocked it off again. Just I need to use this leverage to push this on. I can't see inside there. 1 second. You use the center hole of this to push down over these rods. It makes these assembly easy enough. And then that goes through here with 2 on the bottom. 2 of these on the bottom. Goes through here. And then we put 2 more up on top. To hold it in place, and then we put a planet on top of that. I'm going to verify it's using 2 bottom, 2 top. Yep. This tool actually makes it really easy to assemble. And then I need one of these little rubber grommets, the caps that goes on top here. And I want to verify what planet goes on this one. P30, okay, 31, okay. So this one goes on here. They just push together. Here's a planet. Now, here's the fun part. This is talking about a gear system that I don't have. G2. So sorry, I'm missing gears for this, so I need to get let me get the parts for this. Actually, I thought I had them already out there, but I didn't bring out. Oh, there they are. Sorry, I do have them. Having a senior moment this morning. I had a boss that if he saw you using a tool that way, that's okay. You know, I don't mind being yelled at either. I've had bosses like that who'd yell at you for misusing a tool, and you know what? They have to get over it. Sorry. When you're stuck and you need to do something, you do it. So this uses the planet. This is here an F16, which is this. This needs to be sanded. I thought I sanded this already, but I didn't. There's little add-ons here where the little tabs where everything joins together to keep it in the larger cutout so they don't fall out. You just have to sand off those little tabs to smoothen the edges, and I thought I did this one, but I didn't. You don't need much. Just a small rubber sandpaper is all it needs to smoothen out those edges a little bit. I'm using 320 grit. So if you're using a screwdriver for a hammer, you're screwed. Yeah, Jerry, that's probably right. So G2. And they're showing you the assembly process here. So you need a G2. Doesn't look like there's anything underneath it, but on top of it there is a F16, a G2 on the bottom. G2 goes underneath here. F16 goes on top of that. And they're held on with these bolts. So let me feed those bolts in first. Through G2. Okay, this G2. And then we get this lined up over those 4 bolts. There. And F16 goes over that. Oh, I'm sorry. F16 goes over here. I misread the instructions. Then this goes on top of that. So how's everyone's weekend gone so far? A lot of you were on Jerry's stream yesterday. Jerry's Hangout, I know. My daughter just left about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago or so, to head to the airport for her flight to home. Then we have another F16 to be aligned here. And then we have this. So let me just double check something here. So, okay. On here, it's telling us to do, when we put this on, we have to put in 4 of these little washers again. Two per riser to separate them. And then oh no, sorry, that goes underneath, above this, forgive me. This goes on first. And then they go over that. which they won't fit, which is fine. I find that interesting. Let me see. These are P21s and P22s. What's a P20? Or P21. Oh, it's a P21 and a P22. Forgive me. These are P22. So it's a P21, which is a washer. So again, guys, how's your weekend? Was it been a quiet weekend? Has it been busy? As I said, I know a lot of you were on Jerry's stream yesterday. P21s and P22s. And they have to be held on with 4 little bolts. And the P22s are these small little hexagonal bolts that we'll need to open. Up to now, we haven't used these. And they are tiny, so we have to be careful with this. And so are those washers. So gently move this one around, because this is going to be a fun one to attach. One of our bolts fell out, but that's okay. These are small. Now they do give you a wrench for these, but it's just as easy to pinch it with your fingers and then tighten it down, just like so. Push hard with your thumb, and it should lock into place tight enough. Well, let me redo this one. And to make sure that these don't touch each other, what you do is this cap, which is F15, actually I need an E9 as well. So 1 second. Underneath, I do the F15 underneath, under here. Or is it F15 or F16? F15. I have to get one of those. 1 second, I get an F15. I just smoothen out the edges of this. And F15, and it goes over these, and then it's held in place with these little grommets. So you put it on. So the square, some of these are square, some of these are circular. The square ones get aligned up to these 4 holes here, and you basically push this in place, and this holds it together, but also comes up to the right level for to cover the bolts underneath, or the bolt heads. Just get them started, and then using the tool, apply pressure. Make sure they're properly aligned. And you should just push together. This one's there's always going to be one that's going to be stubborn because it won't go in straight. There you go. And push them flush. It's not exactly flush, but it's close enough. They have to be flush because these these surfaces are going to be rubbing against each other. So you need to push them flush there. And then on the top part, that's the F15. And the top part, you need the F15, which is this. This is a 16, and then another F15. Okay, let me smooth these out because these are acting as bearings as well, so you have to smoothen the edges of them. And they're precisely cut, so you just need to clean up the edges is all you need to do. So get the F15, again, the square ones cover these three. And we can get ahead of that now if you want, just by popping these into place. Get 3 of them. You line them up here. So has anyone purchased one of these? I know Mr. and Mrs. Diesel were looking at it at one point. Has anyone else purchased one of these? There's a big following actually for these on Facebook. People who build one after the next, after the next, after the next continuously. Push this down and make sure that's below the surface. So one done. So we've done this part. Now we have to move on to assembling 22, which is this one here. So that's going to be used later on, so we'll leave that aside. I'm going to go on to the next one. So let's see what I need here. I need this C16. I need these 2 gears, which is G1 and G3. I need an F16, another F16 on the bottom, and 4 P18 or 3 P18s, which are there, and obviously these tubes, which we'll get to later on. Anything else? No, I think that's it. So the assembly of this, again, simple enough. This one's going to have a large, tall rod, so we need to put, again, 4 of these little washers on the top and bottom, or on the bottom, to align these up to each other. And that's close to flush, actually, as it is. Let's get it all the way down. There we go. So that goes in here. And then we put 2 more on top and push them all the way down because they stabilize this rod for the planets. One. So nobody has bought one of these or looked into one of these yet? I don't know when my code ends. If it does end, I don't believe it has an expiry. But if you're thinking about it, it's a good time to do so because there may not be one. As I said, I don't know. I don't believe there's an expiry on the code, but there may be. I'll have to check with them. Okay, no, not you haven't, Jerry. Yeah, they're fun kits. I like doing this. I'm actually considering doing more. So again, put in the grommet on top, and I'm going to do it on P32, which is Mars, I believe. We have the planet ready to go. So here we have a couple of pieces to put together. We have the G3 on the bottom. We have an F16 that goes in here. So let's get that set up. going to push these in place into these rounded corner square holes. And we'll get the next section, we'll put the bolts through it. Yep, there's always one that won't go in straight. There we go. And these line up here. Be pushed on. Before I push them all the way home, I'm going to put the bolts through here to get these to properly align. So let's push these on all the way. Okay, that's that one in there. Next, we put our planet on here. And another F16 above that. It's a C, oh yeah, F16 on top of that one. Screwed and sent home. Oh, you're referring back to what Jerry said earlier on? Yeah. And then we're going to put on this G1 bearing. And it looks like we're going to have to do the same thing again when it comes to... Oh, wait now, 1 second. But he wanted 4 grommets on this to hold us down as well. Or 3 of them, so... Let me get these out of here. We want these in here as well to hold us together. By the looks of things. 1 second. I'm just looking here. This should be... Oh, I need more F15s in a moment. Okay. So that goes on. That goes together with the... Oh, no, it doesn't. Let's see. I have that bearing. That bearing. That doesn't really need these. I'll need those later on. Yeah, we've all had bosses like that. You know what? Sometimes you have to do what you have to do when you're holding something in place, and you want to get it done. Those 3, okay, that's right. Then I have to put on P21 and P22. That's a bit confusing because these are too long. Let me double check this, guys. Okay, so I have the gear, I have a spacer, I have the thing, I have the spacer, I have the next gear. Yeah, that looks right. And I'm going to put on a washer and a bolt on each of these. Oh, it's stuff. This is fun. Yeah, they're small. There is some really small components like small bolts and so on and nuts and so on to be put on there. But it's been a fun build so far. I am enjoying this, and it's all wood, which is makes it even more interesting, right? That it's plywood, mostly 3mm. There's some 5mm ply. There's one layer, I think it's the layer F, is all 5mm ply, but most of it's 3mm or so. And it's hey Silverback, how are you? So let me get these added on, and I'll tighten them up once I get the bolts initially in place. And it does come with a tool to hold stuff, but you know, you don't want to over tighten these because it is ply. You'll end up breaking through the ply. You'll end up damaging the surface. You want it tight enough to hold everything in place, but not so tight that it actually starts crushing it, because that defeats the purpose of doing all of this, right? To be a little bit of kids' gloves when it comes to assembling this. So instead of doing, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this kind of stuff too. So instead of using the wrench or whatever, I just hold it with my thumb or my finger, and then that should be able to hold the washer in place. And if you needed to, you could always use this. This is a tool that goes over it that you could use. So it does come with that option if you really want to. Most of the time, I don't think it needs it. Just for maybe the last cinch. But look, there's last little jam it in place, you know, just the last turn. And then what you do with this, then once you have this done, is you get two parts, and two F15s, which I do not have here. Just give me F15 there and here. I got two F15, and everything is labeled. Everything's got a label on it. So let me smooth out the edges of these. So since you're on Twitch stuff, quickly nip over to if you like this kind of stuff, if you go over to my YouTube channel, in the descriptor for today or any of the other ones, you will see a link to the company. I have a discount code there. The code is Astro. Yeah, it's all laser plywood. Yeah, the discount code is ASTRO, and it's 15% discount from their website. Don't believe it works on anything else, but you can get a 15% discount on their website just by using my code. And that way, then it signifies to them that people are watching the channel, are interested in buying it, are interested in this type of product, you know. But it gives you, I don't get anything. It's a discount code for you guys. I don't get a penny out of this. And then we have to put this on again. It says here we have to put one on the top, one on the bottom. And I don't know if I have enough of these little wooden plugs. I'll have to go look if there's more in the kit somewhere. There probably is, but that I've missed. So let's push these down. Line these up over here, and then I'll push them out into this. These lugs go into these squares again, and they cover the screws. The whole point of this is to cover the screws. Push it all in place. Now it's done. You can watch on Twitch, YouTube. I don't mind. It's up to you. I know you follow me off on both. You're subscribed to both. Whichever is your preference. I'm just saying the problem is Twitch doesn't allow you to put in a description after, because it's all live, and because of that, you can't do stuff like links and so on in there. So whereas YouTube does. So if you want to go to YouTube and get that link, feel free to do so. I have a feeling I'm short some of these little pieces here. I'll have to go check. The part is called E9s. Let me go to the E, and that's F. That's B, that's E. Oh, I have more here. I was worried that I didn't have enough, but I do have plenty of them over here. So let me pop these out. These are delicate, so I use this. Yeah, it's not a bad deal, and they're a fun project, and they have a lot of projects in there. They say they're not for kids; they say they're for adults. Now, could you do them with a child? Like, I wouldn't say a young kid, but I would say like a teen or whatever. Yeah, you could do it with a teen. They need obviously guidance on doing some of these because there's a lot of small pieces in here. Like when I was a teen, like this had been right up my alley because I was into like the Airfix kits and so on, which is this is kind of similar to that. It's just as wood rather than being plastic. I'll need a bunch of these, so I might as well take them all out. There's a whole bunch of them out. So yeah, so if you're like, check it out, and the deal is 15% discount is not bad. It's nothing to be sneezed at, you know. Oh, I just dropped one. I've noticed there's rarely anything spare on these, so you can't afford to drop parts. That I've noticed so far, that I haven't seen any spare pieces of the smaller components yet. So be careful if you do get one. Be careful not to drop the components, because it's not like some bolts and screws you could probably. Now, if you lose a part, or if you break a part, if you break one of the pieces, you can reach out to them, and they'll replace the part for free. But you just have to pay the shipping of the part to you, which is fair enough because, like, well, you broke it. So, oh, I made a mistake here. Of course I did. And I don't think I can push those out. I put these little grommets in here, and I shouldn't have. Maybe I can take it apart. And I probably can. I can rescue this. Yeah. Just let me take this off. I just need to wedge this off carefully. The mistake I made was on the bottom part, the grommets in here, I pushed them all the way in, and I should not have. So I can actually save myself these. I just need to push the others through by loosening the bolts and take off that piece. Yeah, paying for the shipping is reasonable, especially if it's a part you broke. And the chance of them arriving damaged is small because they're really well packed. So if you break a part, you know, paying the shipping to get the replacement, it's kind of worth it. I think anyway. So let's get these off, and I need to fix one small mistake, and it's going to have to reassemble this piece because of it. I have to take off all these bolts and washers and reassemble this part. 1 second. Silly little mistake. I pushed these other objects in too far because I didn't pay attention, but it's an easy fix to correct. But it does require disassembly. If I take that one off, I could probably push these through. There we go. That's what I need. Push them all the way out so they come out the other side. Oh, careful not to break. There we go. All right, let's put that back together again. Again, I will need this piece plus this bearing with these bolts all the way through. Plus that part. Put 2 in for alignment. Plus another bearing. Plus the gear. And let's get these washers back on here. Yeah, and they offer to always repair. It's actually on their website. They said they will replace any part because it is delicate, somewhat delicate. They said they will replace any part a user breaks. All you have to do as a user is to the person who's billing it is to pay for shipping, which is not expensive. Which obviously, like if they have the parts available locally, it's I'm not sure where the parts are coming from, but even then, it's not super expensive, right? So um, I think it's a decent deal. Now, I've got one advantage that and some other makers out there have it. Hey Duff, how are you? Again, so one advantage I have is I have lasers. So I can actually cut my own replacement parts. So if I break a part, I can always go and get the right thickness plywood, or use one of the scrap pieces if it's big enough, and I can laser cut my own replacement part. This is where it is, you are correct. All the integins hang out here. As the song says, I've got friends in low places. Well, what was Samuel Clemens said? I think it was. He said, "Go to you go to heaven for the weather and to hell for the company." He was onto something. Okay, let's just get this pushed back on. Line these on here. And the same for the top one to cover those bearings, those bolts. And we're back to where we were. Okay. Um, so that one is done. It looks like I've got the top bearings and bottom bearings done. That's done. I want to push that down. It's not exactly flush. Okay. So that one is ready. Over to the side. As lubricant on these, on the gears, we use candle wax. I think he might be right. Yeah, I agree. So you candle wax is the actual lubricant. So you can't put a liquid wax on or anything like that on it. So you just rub on candle wax on the gears, and by rubbing along the edges, it actually goes down into it. And I also like to do it on these surfaces as well, because these are often moving parts. There's friction on these parts here, and the candle wax takes care of that. We'll do the same for the top here. So yeah, these are fun. These are nice little projects. I said at this one, if you're mechanically minded, it's a Sunday afternoon's job to assemble. So it's saying here though, I need to wax the whole top surface as well. So I need to wax this as well, because these will be moving against each other. These parts will be. And it's using a paraffin wax, paraffin candle wax. What it uses. 1 second. I want to get all this wax off here. It gets in the way. Okay, so there's another one built. Onto this one. Let's see. So we're going to assemble this one, and let's make sure this is the right one, the right size gear. Yeah, okay. So this is trash. Let me get rid of this. These are just breakout pieces. So we're going to send the next gear system, again, 3 bolts assembly. So we have the gear G20, which is the larger one, G20 on the bottom. And then there'll be a bearing, which is the F16 on top of that. Let's make sure. Yeah, so it's F16 on top of that. And then we have this larger component, the planetary piece on top of that. Doesn't say anything here about waxing these. So let's put together the planet piece first of all. So it's 2 of these little plastic pieces that I've been using all along. And I want to make sure it's flat. So where's my... So Sergio's gonna shout at me again. You know what, Sergio? Yell, I don't care. That's just putting 2 of these little plastic lugs in the end to hold everything together. So we can mount our planet on top of this. And again, I'm going to put this underneath because it's a flat metal surface. And I'm going to use my tool that it comes with. Push all this together. And I need more of those. Where did I put them? Where did I put my little plastic wash? My little plastic grommets? Oh, there they are. So that's in place. 2 top, 2 bottom, 2 top. And then we have one of those little rubber grommets again. For the tip of it. And then P33, which is 18 millimeters, which is this one. That seems too big. It fits, but it's kind of loose. Okay. So we have that there. And then on this we have, as I said, we have the gear. We have a F16 component. Then we have another, then we have this one. So let's get the bolts ready for this. We'll get 2 of them in there for aligning everything as we build it. These 2. Oh, sorry, wrong gear. It's a G20 gear is the bottom one, the large one. G20, the F16. The large centerpiece. Another S16 spacer, and then the G21 gear goes on top of this. And this is all held together again with washers and some of these small little nuts and so on. Can we start it off? And then I'll put the 3rd one in, and then I'll do the top and bottom cap of this, which seals everything and protects everything. A lot of a little assembly in this one, and there's a lot more gears to be assembled as well. There's an awful lot more gears and cogs and stuff yet to be put together. Even though this is the upper part of it, the reason why is there's a lot of ratio in the gearing systems to make the planets move at different rates. So let me get these tightened in. And those that won't tighten down, just use a little wrench that came with it, the wooden one. You only want it snug. You don't want to over tighten them. You'll crush it. It is plywood. You just want it to bite. I'm only using the tools that come with it. Normally, I would probably use a pliers or something to hold this in place. But stair kit, I'm doing it their way. They also say I need 2 F15s, one the bottom, one top. Is it an F15 here? Yeah, 2 F15s. So 1 second. Need to get 2 more F15s. These two, let me clean them up their edges. Because these were actually, there'll be friction on these joints, so we need to clean them up. And they'll be waxed afterwards to make sure that they move smoothly. As I keep saying, I'm a bad karate kid. I wax on, I never wax off. Yeah, the old guys will get it. The young guys, any young guys probably won't. Okay, just clean up the edges of that. Actually, this needs to be cleaned up a little bit too, so let me clean that up. I thought I cleaned this up already and I didn't. This is a light rod with some 320 grit. Okay, so again, we need 3 of these little pieces, these joining pieces, 3 top, 3 bottom. And this time I'm putting these on after the fact so I don't make the mistake like I did last time. Get those into there. Kids might know. I know, but I don't know if they talked about that in the show, in the TV show. I don't know. I've never watched it. You're probably referring to the Cobra Kai show, is what I'm guessing. And I've heard of it. I've never watched it, so I do not know if they did make any reference to that. But the older members in the community remember Mr. Miyagi very well. So I know a lot of you are just lurking, have it running in the background, and lurkers are always welcome. Just don't mute if you're on Twitch. Do not mute Twitch if you're lurking. Muting Twitch cancels it deems that you're not there. So you may as well not be watching. So have audio on or mute tab in your browser. By doing so, it still registers you as watching the event, the stream. But even though you're just lurking in the background, you have to have the mute option on your tab. Do not mute audio in Twitch, because if you do that, it basically deems you not being there. So push on these bearings. It's time to wax this again. So let me get a new stick of wax, because that one's about gone. I know I have more sticks of wax here somewhere. A lot of waxing on these ones. All these components are all going to be experiencing friction of some form. I guess you could probably do this with white graphite powder as well, even though they give you the wax. I'm assuming a white graphite powder would probably work, which you can buy in a hardware store. Okay, that's that one done. I'll leave these aside, we'll need them later. Alrighty then. Let's get on into the next one. Let's see. So I need, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. I need the gear, the cog, F21. I will need at least 2 of these bolts for assembly to align everything up. You could always cheat by putting some masking tape on the back. You put them in place and you could work above it and later on take it off and you're ready to do the assembly. But I don't like doing things the easy way, so an F16 as a spacer. Then we have the large planetary component. Then we have an F20. F20. G18. The G18. A C9. And then on top of that, we have our. Let me assemble. Actually, before I do that, let me assemble the planets on this one because it's small and I won't be able to get to it later on. So I need the bar I need is P27, and that fits here. Wouldn't the carbon from the laser cutting act as a lubricant? No, because it's not fine enough. It wouldn't be fine enough. I don't think it would be. And I wouldn't do it because I would not deem it fine enough. You want, and the carbon, it's different. It's more of a burnt material rather than a proper finely grained carbon lubricant. So I would not deem it suitable. Would it help? Temporarily, it might work, but I wouldn't use it for that. That wouldn't be my goal, is to go that route with it. So consider not going that direction. I would. See, that was my Yoda moment. Consider not going that direction. I would. I realized after I said it that it sounded like Yoda. Again, 2 bottom at the end of the rod, 2 top on top of the rod. I'm going to do the 2 planets right now for this one. I need to get 2 grommets for this. Yeah, I know. You're laughing at me. It's fine. I don't mind being laughed at. Could be worse. There's worse things in life than being laughed at. So. Could be so much worse. It could be like Jerry. Jerry can take it, but I know I can give Jerry a hard time over it because he can take it. I know he can, and he's used to me. And he'll get his revenge at some point. He's been calling me Ike since forever. I know you're laughing at the Yoda comment, but still, Jerry's been calling me Ike and since forever. You know what? Payback is fun. And if I know Jerry, he's probably there laughing at me anyway about me saying that in the first place. So. So either that or he's secretly planning my demise in the background. Okay, so let's get this assembled again. So let me see. I have the gear, spacer, F20, G18. Jerry is good stuff. Yeah, Jerry work construction. He can take abuse. That's part of being of working construction. C9. And then bolted together. So I need to get that everything. Gear, spacer, plan. 1, 2, 3. F20, C9. That goes on. Yeah, I think that's everything. Seems a bit short, but these things are a little bit long, but okay. I thought I had another bolt here. I do. I gotta run. 3D Musketeers, Grant. Oh, okay. Tell Grant I said hi. Grant has a 3D print general, but I have a gut feeling he's going to need all of them. Yeah, he's a busy channel, so yeah. So let me verify everything here. And then this one goes over on top of that. And then we have the washers and the bolts to assemble. Yeah, this build, I think this might be the last one. I'll go. Well, we were an hour in. It may not be because these are slow components to assemble. There's a whole pile of gears. Unless I do a run for it and just keep going, but it could run into a 2-hour session, and that might be a little bit on the long side. But I may end up doing one more because there's a lot of. I'm on page 34 of 40, and that's the last 4 pages has just been assembling these gear systems. So there may be there might be a 5th show in next weekend to finish it off. Maybe I'll leave it up to everybody here. Do you want to keep running with it and see how far we get in 2 hours? Because there's a lot of small components to be assembled, and they do take a little bit of time. Or should we do another session next week? You tell me what you want to do, guys. I'm open to doing both. As I said, I would probably sit down if it was me on my own, I'd sit down and do it on a Sunday afternoon on my own. But we want to do this live. So if you want to keep going, we can do so. Or I can get the last of these components put together, and then we leave it for today because it's been an hour already. So I do have to do 2 things here. Put on the planet on this. Hey, Corey, how are you? Afternoon. So I need an F15 for the bottom and an F. Oh, interesting. So I need an F15 on the bottom and an F28 on top. So an F15 and an F28. F15 and an F28. I think I have F28s over here. F1. F28. I'm going to verify F15 and F20. I don't see an F28. Are my eyes deceiving me? F14. I don't see another F28. I see the F15s here. Here's F. F6. F24. 23, 22. That's an F6 here. I don't see an F28. So to the right. Yeah, that's no, they're F1s. They're both F1s. F28 looks like a round piece. They're like the F16s. The F15, sorry, goes on under here, which he's done these before, so they're easy enough to fix in place. But I don't see an F28. So maybe did I use an F28 before? No. I'll just go through my parts in one moment and I'll look for it. Let me get this one in place first. I need to push these on. But I don't see an F28 there. And I'm sure everything is there. It's just I don't think I misused this and mislabeled it earlier on either. So this goes on. The F15 goes on underneath. So let's look for F28. I don't see an F28. F28 appears to be this a round gear, and I don't think I've used any over here. No. And I thought I took out all the components, but let me just double check. These are C9s and C2s that I'll need later on. These are G24s. These are E16s, which I don't need yet. F1s. That doesn't have a number on it, actually. That could be the 28. Let me have a look. If it's written on the frame anywhere, F17, F25, F28s. Yeah, that's it. It's written on the outside. That's why I didn't see it. It is one of these. It's just there's nothing labeled because the F1s have something written on them, and the F28s have nothing written on them. So the F28s don't have it engraved on the part. They're engraved. It's engraved on the frame it came with. So the F28 goes on top. Oh no, that's not that. That's wrong. I moved on, didn't I? I did. F15 on the bottom. Oh, it's an F15. What is F15 I need? Sorry. I'm wrong again. I need to start reading stuff. I was reading ahead, my mistake. I'm just cleaning off the edges of this. Okay, so again, these little grommets. The idea of these to go on top is basically to hide these bolts that we put on top. That's the whole purpose of them, is to hide them, so they're actually below the surface, and they act as little bearings. So let me just get these assembled. Basically pushing those 4 lugs inside in it. And then on top, we line those up with the 4 rounded corner square holes. And, oh, no, that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. It's not one of these. It's one of these I need for sure. Yeah. Oh, well. That'll be used at some point as is. I'm pretty sure. So this is why, if you're this, they say it's not for kids, because there's a lot of small and nuanced pieces to go together. And but I think under supervision it could be done with a child, you know, and it'd be a fun project to work on with a child, I think. Okay, let's push these together so it's below the surface. Okay, and it says I need to wax this and up here. So let's get our candle wax. The Orrery is on their site. It is definitely on their site. They call it a planetary system, I believe is what they call it. If you look at the kits, it definitely is there. If you can't find it, I'll have a quick look online myself right now, and I'll find it for you. But it is there. I'm going to wax this as well, because I'm sure it's going to be acting as a bearing. Check out it's definitely on their website. Keep looking. I know it's there. That's done. Okay, so that's the part W. Let's see what's next. Oh, look at these. There's a whole. If you can you not find that, Corey? I can quickly look if you want me to. Let me get my keyboard. It's on Robot Online and Wooden Puzzles. I'll just paste it into the chat if you're looking for it. There it is with the Orrery. A long URL, but that is the link directly to their stuff. That's the mechanical Orrery on their website. So if you're still having issues, let me know. I think we're going to stop at that, guys, because it looks like there's a lot of small, really, really small pieces to go into the next section. I mean, a lot of really tiny components. Because we're creating flywheels and other stuff. And I think that could be a session in itself. There's a lot of small little bits and pieces to go together in the next section. So we might stop at that. We're already an hour and 20 minutes in. And we'll do next week. We'll actually get it finished, because these are a lot of small components, and I want to make sure we have them all to get them all laid out, like I did earlier on today to get started with these other components that we did. So we did a lot of this is the Earth Moon system, I believe, and this is Neptune and Mars and probably Saturn or Jupiter. I'm guessing by the size. And we'd previously done Neptune and Uranus and Saturn last week. So we're getting there. We're nearing the end, but I think we need to do one more session. I don't want to drag it out too long because we're already going for 2 hours or an hour and a half. All right, guys, just let me switch back over. So thank you. We got a lot done. A lot of little components, little pieces built. Each of the planetary motion systems are done, are almost ready. We just need to do a lot of interconnecting parts, which are a lot of tiny little pieces, which is slow work. So as you can see from these, there's a lot of really, really small components in these small gear systems. So I think that's going to eat a lot of time. And instead of doing a marathon and trying to get this done now, we should better off to do it later on. At least that way, then we can get it finished in the next session, and we'll be done. We'll get it all assembled. But so far, everything is going together okay. But this is down to the last piece is down to the assembly of all of these components to build it up and to assemble and finalize the Orrery. All right, guys. Thank you again for hanging out with me. We'll be back again next week. Last session. I hope this was going to be last, but it wasn't. Next week will be the last session. Come hell or high water, we'll get it done next week. Excuse me. And I'll see you there. And thank you for hanging out with me. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you online in the next coming days. Thank you. Take care and have a good weekend.